Hey everybody, Big Z. Just taking a little break, sitting in the car. Got rain again. I'm in the parking lot out here at the local emergency room. I had a little training session this morning. Saturday's open mats for us and at our jiu-jitsu school, and we get a lot of Muay Thai guys that come in on Saturday, and sometimes little injuries, accidents happen, and I got popped in the nose. But anyway, so I'm waiting for someone to come out, and I thought I would take a few moments here and shoot this little video. Making a lot of like intro videos because there's so much information to get out. But what I want to share today is I want to go ahead and open up what is going on in Central Florida. Listening again to over at Emma's channel over at Imagination Podcast, or The Imagination, you can catch her on YouTube. You really need to listen to the people who are on that she's interviewing. And shocked again, so many of them are confirming to each of us the experiences that we're having. Real quickly, I live in Daytona Beach. My consort lives over in a town called Claremont, Florida, which is west of Orlando. That town is dripping in masonry over there. The county was founded by Masons. Everybody in government's in masonry over there. And there are more churches over there than there are, I don't know. They're literally, when I say they're on every corner, they're on every corner and in the middle of the damn block. They're just everywhere. But what I'm going to share is those churches really aren't churches, they're storefronts. They're storefronts for Masonic, I don't know how to say this. It's just storefronts for Freemasonry and the worship of their God. That thing we're going to do a whole series on. But what is taking place over there, and I forget the girl's name, she's down in south of the Cape. Very, very influential family, and she's come out as a victim of SRA. But basically, the child trafficking that's going on in Florida is what we're getting at. And while Jim Caviezel's got his movie going on right now in theaters on child trafficking, and it's a big topic, and we want to write it and try to push this momentum and keep it going. So, I would ask this too, that all the other channels out there, that I don't care if you're FE or doing the Flat Earth thing, or if you're doing the NASA videos, or Tartaria and mud floods and all the other things that are, popular right now, maybe we could put those on the back burner and really focus on the real issue that we're having here with the child trafficking. But in Florida, they say we're number 3 as statewide, but we're really, I think we're number 1, and most people here think the same thing. It's because our state's surrounded by water on 3 sides. We got major ports up at Mayport in Jacksonville. We got the military bases that are around Florida, and we know how the military's involvement with this child trafficking, especially with National Guard and pilots. So we got these private airfields. Going back, we got these ports. All the boats are coming in from the Gulf, from South America. They can come up. These go-fast boats can bring these kids in. They got underwater submarines that can turn into boats, and they've got all kinds of stuff taking place. We got the Bahamas right there, but we've also got these private airfields, and they're what we call fly-in communities. I know because I grew up in one. And they're really nice. They're like very high end. You have golf courses, and you fly your airplane into a landing strip, and you taxiway right into your garage hangar. So you never even get out of your aircraft. Well, we found out that that's very convenient for bringing these children in, because they're on these high-end aircraft and they're flown into these homes. And let me say this, child trafficking is not cheap. And the people who purchase these children have money. It is a good $1 trillion industry. And so they're flying these kids into these homes, these, I guess you call them safe homes, or not so safe for the kid, is it? Or the children. And they're flying these kids into these high-end communities, and they end up having these high-end sex parties. And they got these children in there. The shit is out of fucking control. And these fly-in communities, like the one we have here at Spruce Creek, down at Tyco, and going all the way down the coastlines, up and around and all through Central Florida, are, like I said, these private fly-in communities. And they're bringing kids in, children in, and adults, and no customs. Is just right literally into your garage, sight unseen, with these children. In Central Florida with Disney and the largest international airport in the world in Orlando, coming in and out, it's rampant. You tie that in with the 33 Disney World over there and all that goes on at that place. And even though the local, the county sheriffs in Florida are all Masonic, good old boy guys, they still have to do their public arrest of just so many people in this child trafficking thing in Florida. But in Central Florida, it's bad, really, really, really bad. You go back to this town of Claremont over there, like I was speaking of earlier, which on the surface looks like just paradise over there. It's beautiful. It's got the rolling hills. It's almost like you're in another world. I literally fell in love with it. But let's talk about what was not seen, the behind the storefronts over there. That it is rampant in Claremont. And the business people over there are the wealthy people, live on the outskirts of Orlando's and these areas where these polo clubs are at, where, you know, the high-end equestrian stable people. That is, oh my God, these farms that are out there where they have these high-end horses and all this polo stuff and this dressage and all this big thing draws a lot of money, but you're out there in places where you can't hear the screams. We know that orange is a 33 Pythagorean name, and there are orange groves as far as the eye can see in Claremont. In fact, they had a tower called Citrus Tower, and at one point you could go up there back in the early 70s. It was a tourist attraction, and as far as the eye could see, you saw nothing but orange groves. Great place to bury children and people. And someone who who's a developer or owns a site preparation company or construction or landscape company and has access to excavators, you know, they have a service that they can provide. And if they put them deep enough, they'll never be found. And they know in those orange groves out there. Also, a lot of little things look out for. Those people who live out there and have those storage containers, they love to convert them things over. They'll sink them in the ground, and they'll put air conditioning units in them and so forth, and it'll look like a tool shed or equipment shed, and it's pens for these children. And you just can't imagine what's going on out there. These high-end business people who are involved in local governments, you know, your county council members and city managers and people over there, or it's really bad. Go on Emma's channel, the Imagination Podcast, and listen to the just endless hers, and you can go over on the BitChute channel and listen to people who are victims of this, and you can just scroll the videos all day long of the people coming out, especially all of us in Florida, in the Central Florida area, who are now adults and now realizing what we were subject to as children and finding out what the hell's been going on. This child trafficking, pedophilia, is the biggest epidemic in the history of this world. And if you think it's something new, it goes all the way back to the Bronze Age. And that's what was taking place back then. Moloch's alive and well. I'm going to give you the connection of why and how the biggest, I'm going to say this the right way, the biggest participant in this is the Christian church. And you are going to shit when you see the cover-up of all cover-ups. If I want to know why all the shit happened to me in my life, it's because I inadvertently stumbled across it, found out about it, and I knew what I was discovering had to be big, because I wouldn't have gone through so much shit. But even that, I had no idea what I was going to uncover. I say this before, and you've heard this in old videos, a lot of them are gone now. You don't find truth, truth finds you. You go searching for it, it sees you searching, it'll find you out. And once you tune into it, there's no untuning to it. You can't tune it out. Little trepidation, little bit, yeah, some trepidations in doing this. But I'm going to take joy in it because 2 men who hurt my wife and I really bad are going to pay a price for what they've done. And this shit's coming out. You could take me out, you could take whoever you want, but there's thousands and thousands behind me. And we are roaring because we have fucking had it. Again, we got all these ports around Florida, all these private airfields, these big airports, all the international travel taking place. You got Disney World and all the shit over there going on. And all of these big companies are all Masonic, Busch Gardens, all these places. And the MK Ultra Monarch programming, you could become speechless at some. It's so prevalent, let me say that right. So we're opening up forums, and specifically we're going to do it on Central Florida and all the victims here and all the adult children that are now adults. And we're getting a lot of people contacting us, and we're going to build cases against all the people and business owners in this fucking state and in Central Florida who were and are currently involved in this shit. There's nowhere for you to run and hide. All the adrenochrome, all the ritual shit, initiation crap that you're all into in your little secret societies and sex cults that you operate. No. All the hurt and pain and suffering that we've all been through, it's payback time. I'm out.